Our next speaker came to us from abroad. Thank you for doing the honor of speaking. Ari is an overeducated hacker wannabe who is much better at breaking things than fixing them. He spends most of his time social engineering academia for profit. We usually say no profit, right? And occasional fun. That being said, Ari is a professor of electrical and computer engineering at Boston University. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you to Israel Rubin for the pizza. I need a clicker. Yes. All right. So this talk is about unmasking online commentators like a noob. And I guarantee you no human brain cells were harmed or exercised. So what's the motivation? Everything you write on social media leaves little bits of information about you, and if it doesn't, then you're probably wasting even more of your time than you thought. And here's an example. If you write something like, I have known a lot of people with years-long practical gun experience ranging from combat infantry to backcountry elk hunting guides. Simple, innocuous sentence, says a whole bunch of things about you. Says you have long-term experience, social embeddedness, cultural range, domain knowledge, cognitive sophistication, value orientation, emotional restraint, high verbal skills, etc. So the goal of this research was to identify non-trivial information about so-called anonymous bloggers, and I looked at seven blogs. 5 of which I was successfully able to get some information about it. But here's the key. Anyone can extract information from blogs. The job here was to do it without any human code, only using AI commands. And I was allowed to execute code that the AI told me, but I was its slave. I also had system access to one box. Okay? So those are the ground rules. I cannot use my brain. I can only do what the AI tells me. All right, but the real goal was that I wanted to come here and see all of you and speak here at BSides. This is quite a pleasure and I enjoy it. All right, so what were the challenges? It's actually not so easy to get information from blogs, from websites. Many have non-standard comments. They have dynamic pages that interact with the user, require you to scroll, click, move things around. They have pagination. Sometimes they have rate limits to prevent exactly what I'm doing. They have so-called GPT safety. So for example, this picture on the right, union tied to anti-ICE riots hired child molester to top local chapter role. Because it has the word child molester in it, no GPT will ever give it to me because it's considered unsafe, even though it's a news headline. Some have paywalls, some have terms of service. Bottom line is, it's actually pretty hard to scrape for AIs. If anyone knows that Barbie, that's the Math is Hard Barbie. That was a catastrophic failure by Mattel. They had a teenage Barbie who said math is hard and got people very upset. So AI also has trouble with this. So let me just give you one case example. I don't have enough time to go through all of them. But I looked at the Wallach conspiracy. It's a blog for legal scholars. Okay, so first try to collect some data. Okay, so I asked, I looked at, this was based on ChatGPT 4 because I originally made this in May, but I updated with ChatGPT 5 and Gemini and Claude and various others. So how would I scrape information from a blog? I asked, and of course, GPT gave me the standard response. Well, no, that's a bad thing to do. You shouldn't do that. And if you do that, you have to be careful about ethics and legal. Okay. Give me a Perl code that will do this. And it gives me some Perl code, but the Perl code has some dependencies, and I'm a noob. I don't know anything about dependencies, so that doesn't work. All right, so I give it more precise instructions. Give me Perl code, make it clear what it needs to do. Each comment needs to be marked. I want to know the author and the comment, replies, etc. And I even give it several examples of websites from the blog for it to use as an example. Again, it gives me some code, and the code doesn't work. All right, let's skip this entirely. After a few hours, give up on that. Let's try something else. Try a different approach. So it tries hybrid, Node, Perl, etc. Let's try that. It uses Puppeteer. Still doesn't work. Okay, a whole bunch of steps later. Each time I would come back to the engine and say, this doesn't work, fix it. This doesn't work, fix it. At no point did I ever engage my brain in this process. Okay, the idea was, can we do this as a noob? With enough effort, eventually, I'm able to scrape some of these blogs and then feed them in and try to get some analysis. Okay, and it's able to provide some pretty astute analysis. I have blanked out the names of the handles of the particular authors, but it can do political analysis, left, right, libertarian. It can do professional analysis. What kind of profession is this person likely to be? And it gives you the text basis for that so that you can check it. And you can see there's some text there that tells you what how these people came to that. Okay, but anyone who's known the GPT knows, that they make up stuff. So we need a control. We need to test this against something we know the result of. Okay, so first of all, I just asked for some general observations, and these are consistent with my own observations of the blog, so it got that pretty accurately. Okay, but then I did another thing. I took well-known personalities on the blog, such as Eugene Wallach, who's one of the main contributors. I anonymized, or actually de-identified him as user 31415 in all of the blogs. Again, only using instructions from the AI, not using any of my own scripts. And it was able to give me a whole bunch of information about him. Formal American legal education, advanced degree, domain expertise, etc. But when I asked it for, try to guess who this person is, that's verboten. No, can't do that. Okay, fine. Give me an example of the most de-anonymizing text by this user, and that it can do. It gave me some text, and then I said, all right. So he wrote some work with Randy Kennedy. Who could have possibly written work with Randy Kennedy? And sure enough, it comes out. Okay, I tried a different person. That was a well-known personality, publicly established. Try a different person whose name isn't quite as well-known, though I know it. And you can see the yellow stuff is all things that were correct. So it's able to extract an awful lot of information from this. Okay, all it takes is one mention somewhere that even my 11-year-old can walk while chewing gum, and now immediately this person has an 11-year-old child, right? That means the person is probably middle-aged. Okay, based on other evidence, the person is an expert on Darfur conflict dynamics, UAE foreign policy, etc. Okay, last control, I tried me. I'm not going to tell you what my handle is, but the yellow stuff is the stuff that it got right. It did a pretty good job. Okay. Then I took it to the next step. I tried to cross-correlate it with other accounts. And again, initially, it's hesitant, but if you ask it in the right way and pet it and say, please, it does a full analysis for you. And the kind of things that it's able to extract are just amazing. Okay, so this particular person, for example, at one point on Twitter, I think it is, asked about a Honda S2000 spotted near Mount Juliet Road and Lebanon Road. Okay, I don't know where Mount Juliet Road is or Lebanon Road is, but it turns out there's one place where those two roads intersect in the US, and ChatGPT found it out. It's in Tennessee. And so therefore deduced that this person was somewhere from around that area. Okay? Profession, etc. Age, whole bunch of information. Okay, I tried the same thing with Red Hat Israel to see what you can get out of that. And there are some interesting figures. There's this guy, Am Yisrael Chai, who posts every 30 to 90 minutes, 24 hours a day. Okay? So either this person doesn't sleep, or it's probably a bot. There's a person who has 78 comments, 71 of which are identical. Okay? There's one person who always praises the same Israeli party. Okay? It's possible that that's a real individual, or more likely it's domestic astroturf. At any rate, these are all kinds of these associative connections that ChatGPT does very, very well. And in fact, I don't even need to know the language. I tried it on a Persian language blog. Again, I don't know any Farsi. And you can get all kinds of interesting information. Political leanings, anti-IRGSE, for IRGSE, pro-Israel, anti-Israel, war veteran, etc. Okay, so conclusions. AI features, some of the features of AI are, one, they're lazy. They infer from very few examples because of the attention, the way attention works, okay? And it has a hard time with dynamic content. It's also sloppy. It makes mistakes. It hallucinates. It makes OS int a little bit easier so that even a noob can do it. But the thing that I really want you to get out of this talk is you are not anonymous. No matter how much you think you're anonymous, no matter what handles you have, okay, anytime you share anything that's meaningful, it means that you're sharing something of yourself. Sharing is forever. Thank you very much.